My fiancé actually gave me to an old man in public for a 5 million project at this time. I was dumbfounded on the spot. Today was our wedding. A few seconds ago, I was the bride of this wedding. A few seconds later, I turned out to be a gift from my husband. My husband held the microphone, turned to look at the man in his 60s in the first row of the audience, and smiled very flatteringly. Mr. He, I brought people. As long as the 5 million project funds arrive, she will accompany you to dinner tonight. He Guangxing sat in the audience and slowly raised his eyes to look at me. He was very old, with gray hair and a heavy gold ring on his hand. He smiled, his eyes falling from my face to my shoulders and then to my waist. Mr. Zhou, you are generous. Zhou Zichuan also laughed. She is obedient. As long as I speak, she won't refuse. I heard someone gasp. I also heard someone lower their voice and say, this is too ugly. But no one stood up. My father, Shen Hong, sat at the front, bowed his head to drink, as if he didn't hear anything. My stepmother Lu Man even smiled at me. She said in that gentle and cruel voice, Nanxing, don't make trouble. So many people are watching today. You helped Saochuan once, and he will remember you well in the future. I looked at them, looking at my fiancé, looking at my father, looking at the full hall of guests. Everyone thought I was going to cry. I didn't cry. I put the bouquet on the ground and lifted the veil with my hand. Then, I took out a black card from my wedding dress pocket. Someone in the audience laughed softly. Zhou Zichuan frowned. Shen Nanxing, don't go crazy here. I ignored him. I looked at the hotel manager standing by the banquet hall door. Manager Wang. He immediately came over. His face pale. I handed him the black card. Notify legal and financial. From now on, this hotel belongs to me. The entire banquet hall was as quiet as death. The smile on Zhou Zichuan's face froze. He Guangxing also narrowed his eyes. Manager Wang took the black card. His fingers shaking. He bent down, his voice clearly sounding in front of everyone. Mr. Shen, the acquisition agreement has come into effect. The entire management of the hotel is waiting for your arrangement. This sentence was like a slap in the face, slapping everyone in the face. The audience finally exploded. She bought a hotel. How is that possible? Didn't the Shen family say that she was just an ordinary daughter? Zhou Zichuan just pushed the hotel owner to someone else. I slowly turned around and looked at Zhou Zichuan. When he first proposed to me 3 years ago, he said he would give me the biggest wedding in the city. He said that I suffered a lot, and with him in the future, I don't have to be afraid anymore. He said that I was the only one in this life. I believed it then. I thought that a person would be willing to accompany me through the loneliness after my mother's death, at least sincerely. Later I understood. He accompanies me, not because he loves me, because he thinks I'm useful. Today he finally stopped pretending. I glanced down at my wedding dress. I personally chose this wedding dress. Simple, clean, and without too many frills. I used to want to wear it and walk to a new home. Now, I'm wearing it and standing in the middle of a crowd of people who want to see my jokes. I suddenly felt very good, because I finally woke up. Zhou Zichuan rushed in front of me, lowered his voice and said, Shen Nanxing, what the hell are you doing? I asked him, what did you just say? His eyes flashed. What did I say? I'm just joking with Mr. He, today is our wedding. Don't make a big deal out of it. I laughed. Just kidding. I took the microphone and the master of ceremonies. The MC wanted to stop me, but Manager Wang directly asked the security guard to stand behind him. I said to the audience, you all heard it just now. My fiancé, Mr. Zhou Zichuan, pushed me to Mr. He Guangxing for a project of 5 million at our wedding site. Zhou Zichuan's face changed. Shen Nanxing. I continued. So, this wedding is cancelled. I looked at him. Zhou Zichuan. We break off the engagement. There was another exclamation from the audience. Zhou Zichuan's mother stood up suddenly. You said to break off the engagement. How much did our Zhou family spend for this wedding? Do you think you can bully people by buying a hotel? I glanced at her. I paid for all the expenses of this wedding. The hotel is also mine. What your Zhou family spends is the few lines on the invitation. She blushed. Zhou Zichuan's father also stood up. You are a woman. Don't speak so ugly. I nodded. Then let me be direct. I asked Manager Wang to hand me the tablet. On the screen, there is a bill. I looked up at Zhou Zichuan. Wedding banquet expenses, venue expenses, decoration costs, security expenses, media expenses, total of 8.37 million. Cause Mr. Zhou breached the contract in public and humiliated the bride. The wedding was cancelled. The Law Society will send a letter today. Zhou Zichuan's face turned completely white. Shen Nanxing, are you crazy? I'm your fiancé. Not anymore. I looked into his eyes. From the moment you pushed me out as a cargo, you were nothing. He Guangxing suddenly laughed. The laughter was slow and cold. Miss Shen, it's a good thing for young people to have a temper, but he has too much temper and is prone to wrestling. I looked at him. Don't worry, Mr. He, I wear flat shoes and it doesn't hurt to fall. His eyes sank. Do you know who you're talking to? I know. I took a step forward, stood on the edge of the stage, and looked at him condescendingly. A man at my wedding who tried to buy me for 5 million. His face finally turned ugly. Zhou Zichuan hurriedly said, Mr. He, she is ignorant. Don't worry about her, I said coldly. Security guard. The security guards on both sides of the banquet hall immediately walked in. I pointed to Zhou Zichuan. Please leave Mr. Zhou's family. Zhou Zichuan looked at me in disbelief. You drove me away. Yes, this is our wedding. Not anymore. I looked at He Guangqing again. And Mr. He Guangqing sat still. Two assistants behind him stood up first. Manager Wang's face was nervous, but he still bit the bullet and said, Mr. He, please cooperate. He Guangqing stared at me for a long time. The look in his eyes didn't look like anger after being humiliated. It's more like re-examining something he didn't see clearly. Finally, he slowly stood up. Shen Nanxing called my name for the first time. You are bolder than your mother. My fingers tightened slightly. The audience was noisy, but when his words fell, I heard them clearly. I looked up at him. Do you know my mother? He smiled. Recognize. Many years ago. She was like you today, refusing to bow her head. After he finished speaking, he left with the people. I stood there, my heart chilling. My mother has been dead for 10 years. The Shen family rarely mentions her. Her father said she died in an accidental car accident. Lu Man said that the dead have passed. So I don't want to live in the past all the time. I always knew they were hiding something, but I have no evidence. Today He Guangcheng's words let me confirm this. He knew my mother. Moreover, he was no stranger to my mother's death. Zhou Zichuan was still standing on the stage. His panic just now had turned into anger. He grabbed my wrist and his voice was low. Shen Nanxing, I'll give you one last chance. Apologize to Mr. He apologized to my parents. This wedding can continue. I looked at his hand. That hand once gave me an engagement ring, used to pour me water when I had a fever. There was also a time when I thought I couldn't hold on anymore. I gently patted my back, but now, this hand grabs me like a thing that belongs to him. I shook it off hard. You are not qualified to give me a chance. Zhou Zechuan's eyes were fierce. Don't think that just a few dollars are amazing. Where did your money come from? Does the Shen family know? Did you raise someone else behind my back? He was very loud. He wanted to splash dirty water on me. The guests really fell silent. I looked at him and suddenly felt that the 3-year relationship was ridiculous. When a person doesn't love you, even your dignity can be used as a weapon. I picked up the microphone and spoke calmly. Zhou Zichuan, when you proposed to me 3 years ago, you said that you didn't care about my identity. I didn't care about my money. I only cared about me as a person. His expression froze. I continued. Today you pushed me to someone else for 5 million. Now ask me where my money comes from. Do you not care about money? Or do you only care about the money you can get? Someone in the audience laughed lowly. Zhou Zechuan's face was blue. I didn't look at him anymore. I said to the security guard, send off the guests. This time, the security guard did not hesitate. Zhou Zichuan wanted to struggle, but was stopped by 2 security guards. His mother shouted next to him, Shen Nanxing, you will regret it. Without Saochuan, who wants a woman like you? I looked at her. Don't worry, I won't let your son have another chance to have me. When these words fell, chuckles suddenly came from the corner of the banquet hall. The sound is not loud, but it was clear in the chaos. I turned my head to look over. A man stands by the window. He wore a black suit, was very tall, and had straight shoulders. The light outside the window fell on the side of his face, making his silhouette look cold. He didn't applaud and didn't make any extra expressions. Just look at me. It's like watching a chess game that already knows the ending. When Manager Wang saw him, his face changed again. Mr. Jiang. My heart moved slightly. Jiang Yubai, current head of the Jiang Group. This hotel was originally the biggest potential buyer. I know him, cause when I bought this hotel, it was his acquisition that cut off the beard. Jiang Yubai came over and stopped in front of me. He is taller than Zhou Sichuan and quieter than Zhou Sichuan. His eyes were very deep and he couldn't see the emotions. Miss Shen, he said, congratulations. I asked, congratulations on breaking off my engagement, or congratulations on buying the hotel. Both. I looked at him. Mr. Jiang doesn't seem to be here for the wedding. I'm really not. He looked at the half-empty banquet hall. I'm here to buy the hotel. I said. Then you're late. I know his tone was calm, without the slightest anger of being robbed of business. So I'm just here to see who is the one who stole my project. I didn't back down. See it now. Jiang Yubai looked at me. I saw it. He paused and said, Miss Shen is calmer than in the information. My heart moved. You check me. Basic preparation before business competition. He said calmly. I suddenly laughed. Then Mr. Jiang's preparation is not sufficient. Yes, he didn't deny it either. I didn't find out. You will buy the whole hotel at your own wedding. I put away my laughter. This has nothing to do with Mr. Jiang. Maybe not now. Jiang Yubai looked at the door. He Guangqing had already left. The few people he brought were still standing at the end of corridor outside. They were looking at me. That kind of gaze is uncomfortable. Jiang Yubai whispered, you have embarrassed He Guangqing today. He won't just let it go. I looked at him. You want to remind me? Yes. Why? Jiang Yubai was silent for 2 seconds. Cause he also stood in my way. This answer is very commercial and reasonable, but I don't fully believe it. I have seen too many plausible lies today. I said thank you, Mr. Jiang. But my own path. I will go myself. Jiang Yubai looked at me for a while and did not persuade me again. Okay. He took a business card from his assistant and handed it to me. When you find out that he is not an ordinary opponent, you can find me. I didn't answer. He wasn't embarrassed either. He placed his business card on the champagne tower tray next to it. Miss Shin. Today's event is very beautiful. He turned and left. I looked at his back. And my heart was not relaxed. Congratulations to Guangqing. A Jiang Yubai. Person who suddenly mentioned my mother. Someone who checked on me. This wedding is far more complicated than I imagined. Guests left one after another. Only the staff was left in the banquet hall to clean up the remain. Flowers and broken wine glasses. My father finally took the stage. Shin Hong's face was ugly. Nanqing, you went too far today. I looked at him. When Zhou Zichuan pushed me to he Guangqing just now, why didn't you say he was excessive? He avoided my eyes. That's just a business thing. You shouldn't take it seriously. He treats your daughter as a transaction. Do you think I shouldn't take it seriously? Shin Hong frowned. Do you have to say something so ugly? Is it ugly or ugly? Lu Man walked to his father and sighed softly. Nanqing, it's not that your dad doesn't love you. He just wants you to take care of the big picture. The marriage of the Zhou family is good for the Shin family and yourself if you make such a fuss today. What will the outside world say about you? I looked at her gentle face. She always will be. She doesn't scold or loud. She will only hide the knife in soft words. I said people outside will say that I didn't marry a man who sold me. Lu Man's face froze. Shin Hong shouted in a low voice. Enough, I didn't shut up. I waited for this day. Too long. Since my mother's death. I have been like an outsider in the Shin family. My father said I was ignorant. Lu Man said I was too sensitive. Shin Wei said that I deserve no one to like it. They press me with family affection. Family and marriage. I used to think that if I endured it, I would be able to get a little stability. Today I saw it clearly. It's not that they don't understand my pain. They just don't care. I raised my hand and took off the engagement ring on my ring finger and placed it in front of my father. From today onwards, I will no longer listen to your arrangements. Shin Hong stared at me. Do you think you can get away from the Shin family? I said calmly. It's not that I left the Shin family. The Shin family who should pay me back. His face changed suddenly. What do you mean? I didn't answer. 'Cause some accounts are not suitable for today's settlement. I turned and walked towards the bridal lounge. Lu Man's voice whispered to comfort his father came from behind him. Don't worry. She was just stimulated today. When she calms down, we'll talk. I heard it, but I didn't stop. I went into the lounge and closed the door. In the mirror, my makeup is still very complete. The white veil hangs over her shoulders, looking like a dream that has not yet ended. I sat in my chair and finally felt tired. Not because of Zhou Zichuan, 'cause I found that I had been waiting for someone else to give me a little love for too long. I picked up the makeup remover pad and was about to wipe off the lipstick, but my hand suddenly stopped. In the pocket of the wedding dress. Seems that there is still something. I obviously only put a black card. I reached in and touched a hard piece of paper. I took it out slowly. It's an old photo. The photo has been yellowed. There were 3 people standing on it. His mother when he was young, he Guangqing, and a man with a blurred back. The mother was wearing a white shirt and had no smile on her face. He Guangqing stood beside her with gloomy eyes. I flipped through the photos. There is a line of black handwriting on the back. The words are very short, but it made me feel chills all over my body. Why? Our mother did not die accidentally. I stared at the line. My fingers slowly numb. 10 years ago, my mother's car lost control on the seaside road, crashed into the guardrail, and fell into the sea. Police said it was an accident. My father said it was raining that night and the road was slippery. Lu Man said that his mother was too tired from work to be in a trance. Everyone made me accept this result, but I never believed it. My mother, Song Ziyi, is a calm and almost strict person. She would check her brakes twice before going out. She puts every contract in the safe by date. She doesn't drive fast on a rainy night. I won't leave me alone in the Shin family. I put the photo in my bag, changed into my wedding dress, and put on my long black dress. By the time I walked out of the lounge, the hotel promenade had quieted down. The wedding flower wall is still there. It had my names and Zhou Zichuan written on it. I stopped and looked at it for a few seconds. Then he said to Manager Wang, "Demolished." Manager Wang nodded immediately. "Okay, Mr. Shin." When I walked to the elevator, Jiang Yubai had not yet left. He was standing by the window, answering the phone. Seeing me come out, he ended the call and walked towards me. "Miss Shin, I don't want to deal with him. Mr. Jiang still has something to do." His eyes fell on my bag. "Your face is very bad. People who have just been divorced generally don't look very good." "Not like." I looked at him. "What does that look like?" "It's like seeing something more terrible." His voice was low. I clutched my straps. "Mr. Jiang observes others. Has he always been so direct? Only for dangerous people." I laughed. "I'm dangerous to you. You are dangerous to many people," he said. "Especially after today." I didn't speak. Jiang Yubai looked at me, as if he had guessed something. "He Guangqing mentioned your mother before leaving." My heart sank suddenly. "Did you hear that?" "I heard it. So what do you want to say?" "He didn't go around the corner. He Guangqing has been looking for something all these years. That thing has to do with your mother's Blue Bay project." Blue Bay. The name was like a needle that pierced the place where I remembered it the most. When I was a child, my mother took me to Blue Bay. It was an old seaside place. The sea is blue and the wind is strong. My mother squatted down, pointed to the wasteland in the distance and said to me, Nanxing, there will be a seaside hotel here that really belongs to women in the future, not to cling to anyone. To start over. I was too young to understand at that time. Later my mother died. The Blue Bay project was stopped. Later I heard that the land fell into He Guangcheng's hands. The Shin family never allowed me to ask. I looked at Jiang Yubai. How do you know Blue Bay? My father also participated in the Blue Bay project back then. My heart tightened. Your father. Jiang Yuanshan. I know the name. Previous person in charge of the Jiang family. He is also Jiang Yubai's father. Died 5 years ago. I didn't see much sadness on his face. Jiang Yubai has always been like this. Quiet, restrained. Like a knife hidden in its sheath. I said, so you approach me. Not just for the hotel. I didn't approach you. You checked me. Intercepted my project. And now you tell me this and that's not counting. He was silent for a moment. Forget it. I sneered. Mr. Jiang is honest, he said. I cannot say it today. But I said it because He Guangcheng has set his sights on you. I stared at him. You put the photo. Jiang Yubai frowned. What photo? His reaction was light. But not pretending. I didn't take out the photo. Nothing. Shen Nanxing. Called my name directly for the first time. If someone gives you something related to your mother, don't check it alone. I asked. Why? 'Cause everyone who touched Blue Bay 10 years ago was either dead or shut up. This sentence made the air in the corridor a little colder. I looked at him. And more questions arose in my heart. Where's your father? Jiang Yubai's eyes moved slightly. Before he died. He was also in Chalin Bay. I wanted to continue asking. But my phone rang suddenly. Zhou Zechuan's name jumped out of the screen. I just hung up. He called again. He'll hang up again. The third time. He sent a message. Nanxing, am downstairs in your company. If you don't see me, I will keep kneeling. I stared at the line and suddenly smiled. Jiang Yubai saw my expression. Zhou Zechuan. Yes. He turned back faster than I thought. I put my phone away. Not looking back. It is to discover that I still have value. Jiang Yubai did not refute. He only said, do you need proof? I raised my eyes. What evidence? Evidence that makes you completely uneasy. I felt like I was being tapped on the chest. I don't want to relent. But I can't deny that 3 years is not 3 days. Some things will get stuck in the flesh even if they are broken. I said. Send it to me. Jiang Yubai looked at me. Now. A few seconds later, I received an audio clip on my phone. I clicked. Inside there was the sound of chaotic wine glasses. Then it was Zhou Zechuan's voice. Shen Nanxing. She is too gullible. Another man asked. Do you really want to marry her? Zhou Zechuan laughed. Otherwise, although Shen Hong guarded against her, she was Song Zi's daughter after all. As long as I marry her, the Shin family will give me resources sooner or later. The man asked again. Do you like her? Zhou Zechuan's voice was lazy and contemptuous. Like. She was terribly boring. Every day she looks like someone else owes her. If it weren't for the project, I would have divided it long ago. I stood still. Motionless. The audio continues. When I get the resources of the Shin family, who cares about her? What about Mr. He likes to be young. Beautiful and obedient. People like Shen Nanxing softened when they were frightened. When the time comes, let her accompany her for a meal. And the project money will come. The audio ends. My ears are quiet, but it was as if something had completely collapsed in my heart. I thought that the sentence at the wedding was his impulsiveness. And he lost the bottom line in the face of interests. Turns out not. That was just part of his plan. He had long thought about sending me out. He had already put a price on my dignity with a smile. I held my phone and my fingertips turned white. Jiang Yubai did not say a word of comfort. That's G. But I don't need comfort right now. I need to be sober. I looked up at him. Thank you. He asked. What are you going to do? I said let him kneel. Jiang Yubai's eyebrows moved slightly. Just kneeling. Of course not. I turned around and entered the elevator. 20 minutes later. My car was parked downstairs at Shanghai Capital. Shanghai Capital is an investment company I registered overseas 3 years ago. No one knows that I am the actual controller. Even Zhou Sichuan didn't know. He always thought that I only had a little money left by my mother. In my hand. He never looked at me seriously. This is also my strength. There were many people downstairs in the company. Zhou Sichuan really knelt there. He changed out of his wedding blazer and looked embarrassed in only a white shirt. Several passers-by took pictures of him with their mobile phones. When he saw me get out of car, his eyes immediately turned red. Nanxing, he took 2 steps forward on his knees. I know it's wrong. Listen to me. I stood in front of him and didn't help him. Explain what? He looked up at me, his voice trembling. Today is not what you think. He Guangqing threatened me. If I don't agree, he will ruin my company. I just want you to have a meal with him. I don't really want to hurt you. I listened quietly. He saw that I didn't interrupt and thought I was shaken. Nanxing, we have been together for 3 years. You know how much I love you. I was just too scared. I'm afraid that the company will collapse and that I won't be able to give you a future. I asked him. So the future you gave me is to give me to another man. His face turned pale. It's not a gift. Just eat. I looked at him. You said at the wedding that she was obedient and would not refuse, as long as you spoke. His lips moved. I continued. You also said that when the project funds arrive, I will accompany Mr. He to dinner tonight. The onlookers' voices became louder. Zhou Sichuan was anxious. Nanxing, Don't say this outside. Let's go back and talk. Okay, I promise you anything you want. I want you to stay away from me. His eyes changed. Are you really so ruthless? I laughed. Zhou Zichuan, you are kneeling here. Not because you regret hurting me. You found out that I was rich. His expression completely froze. I bent down and said in a voice that only the two of us could hear. Don't worry. I won't give you a penny for the resources you want. Then I straightened up and said to the assistant next to me. Send the recording to the media. Zhou Zichuan raised his head suddenly. What recording? I looked at him. A few seconds later, his phone rang. Then someone in the crowd exclaimed. It's out online. It's Zhou Zichuan's recording. He has long planned to give his fiancé to Mr. He. The blood on Zhou Zichuan's face disappeared little by little. He stood up and wanted to grab my phone. The security guard immediately blocked him. Shen Nanxing, you can't do this to me. I looked at him calmly. You can do it. Why can't I say it? That's a private chat. You are invading privacy. Then you can sue me. I turned around and walked into the company building. His roar came from behind him. Shen Nanxing, you will regret it. No one wants you but me. I didn't look back. He still doesn't understand. The last thing I need is to be wanted by someone. That night, Zhou Zichuan's recording rushed to the hot search. His company phone was blown up. All partners that had been negotiated were suspended. The 5 million project funds have not arrived. Instead, he was at greater risk of default. And I sat in the office late into the night. Assistant Qin, he put a stack of materials in front of me. Mr. Shen. This is the capital flow of Zhou Zichuan's company in the past 3 months. There are also records of his interactions with Yi Guangqing. I opened it and looked at it. Zhou Zichuan's company was worse than I thought. Bank loans are overdue. Employee wage arrears. Supplier reminders. He is not 5 million short. He is on the verge of bankruptcy. I asked, has he been in contact with the Shen family recently? Qin, he nodded. Yes. Ms. Lu Man had seen him twice in private. And Shenwei, my half-sister. Since she was a child, she liked to rob me the most. When I was a child, it was my room, my skirt, piano that my mother left me. When she grew up, she grabbed resources, connections, and her father's attention. Now she has her eyes on Zhou Zichuan again. I closed the information, continued to investigate. Qin, he nodded and left. The office is quiet. I walked to the window and watched the traffic downstairs. The phone rang suddenly. This time, it was Shen Hong. I picked it up. His voice suppressed anger. You go back to Shen's house now. I have something to say on the phone. Do you still know that I am your dad? I looked at my own shadow in the glass. At the wedding. You don't seem to remember that I am your daughter. The other end of the phone was silent for a few seconds. Then his voice was colder. Nanxing, don't threaten your family with today's incident. Sichuan did something wrong. But if you put things on the internet, you are slapping the Shen family in the face. I asked, so what? You are now making a statement saying that the recording was a misunderstanding. Peer with Sawachuan again and make up for the marriage. I almost laughed out loud. You asked me to continue marrying him. This is the best solution. Who is best for whom? To the Shen family. Or to you? Shen Hong said angrily. Without the Shen family, do you think you can have today? I have heard this sentence for too many years. Clothes I wore when I was a child were given by the Shen family. The money I paid for school was given by the Shen family. The house I live in was given by the Shen family. They never say it. The original funds of the Shen family came from my other everything about Shen Hong now also comes from my mother. I opened the drawer and take out a document. That was part of the trust document left by my mother. I searched for a long time before I got a copy from an overseas lawyer. I said to the phone, Dad, you are wrong. The Shen family still exists today. Not because of you, because of my mother. Shen Hong took a deep breath. Who showed you the documents? My heart sank. He really knew. I didn't answer. His voice became alert. Shen Nanxing. Listen, your mother's things have long been dealt with. Don't check randomly. Why? There is no reason. If you continue to investigate, it will not be good for you. Is it not good for me or not for you? Lu Man's voice came from the other end of the phone. Old Shen. Don't quarrel with her. Let me say. Soon Lu Man answered the phone. Her voice was still soft. Nanxing, let's go home for dinner tomorrow night. Your dad is angry today, but he still loves you in his heart. Our family. Sit down and talk about something. I asked. A family. Of course. She paused. If your mother is still here, she doesn't want you and your dad to make trouble like this. My fingers slowly tightened. Lu Man always knows how to sting me. I said, don't mention my mother. She sighed softly. Okay. Don't mention it. Then come back tomorrow night. Your sister is also here. Let's talk about it. After hanging up the phone, I stood for a long time. I know it's a bureau, but I have to go. 'Cause as long as they start panicking, it means that I am closer to the truth. The next day, I went to see my mother's private lawyer for the year. The lawyer's surname is Gu, and he is already old. When I found him, he was living in an old house on the outskirts. When he saw me, he was silent for a long time. You look a lot like your mother. These were the first words he said to me. I put the trust documents on the table. Lawyer Gu, I want to know what my mother left behind back then. Lawyer Gu opened the document, his expression becoming more and more solemn. This is not the full version. My heart tightened. What do you mean? The last page is missing. He pointed to the page number of the document. There's one page missing here. On that page, the final successor confirmation clause should be written. The final heir. Yes, your mother made 2 arrangements back then. A set of will and trust terms that are clearly managed by Shin Hong. A set of wills and trust terms that are truly in effect. Will only be activated after you reach adulthood and complete identity confirmation. I was breathing heavily. Where is that page? Lawyer Goose shook his head. After your mother had an accident, the documents were taken away. I later got some back. The last page never found it. I asked, who took it? Lawyer Gu looked at me and hesitated for a long time. Shin Hong. The answer is not surprising, but I still felt cold in my heart. My father always knew. He knew that his mother had left something for me. That's why he's been so guarded against me all these years. I took pictures of the documents and prepared to leave. Lawyer Gu suddenly stopped me. Nanjing, I turned back. He pulled an old envelope from a drawer. This was given to me by your mother a week before the accident. She said, if you come to me one day, I will give this to you. My hands were shaking a little. I took the envelope. There is only half a sheet of paper inside. On the paper are the words of the mother. Don't believe that marriage will protect you. Don't believe Shin Hong. If Blue Bay reappears, it means they are coming back. I stared at the last sentence, my heart beating faster and faster. Who are they? Congratulations to Guangqing, Shin Hong, or the Jiang family. I put away the paper and walked out of Lawyer Gus' house. As soon as I arrived at the car, I saw Jiang Yubai standing there. He seemed to have been waiting for me for a long time. I looked at him vigilantly. Mr. Jiang follows me. No, then how do you know him here? Lawyer Gu contacted me. I was stunned. Why did he contact you? Jiang Yubai did not answer immediately. His eyes fell on the document bag in my hand. Do you see the incomplete page number? I looked at him. You know the last page. His expression changed for the first time. Slight, but I see it. He reached out. Show me. I didn't move. Jiang Yubai. What do you know? He was silent for a few seconds and whispered. I've seen that page. My heart sank suddenly. He continued. In the safe my father left before he died. The wind blew from the street entrance, rolling up the dead leaves on the ground. I stood outside Lawyer Gus' house, holding a document bag in my hand, looking at Jiang Yubai. Why is there the last page of my mother's trust document in your father's safe? Jiang Yubai did not avoid my gaze. I want to know too. Do you think I will believe it? No. He spoke too calmly. This made me even more angry. Jiang Yubai. You have been in front of me since the wedding day. You know He Guangqing. You know Lan Wan. And you know my mother's old story. Now you tell me that the most important page of my mother's documents has appeared in your father's place. I took a step forward. How can you make me believe that you weren't involved? Jiang Yubai looked at me with deep eyes. Before my father died, he left a letter. He said he didn't harm Song Ziyi, but he couldn't save her. My heart was shaken. The name Song Ziyi came out of his mouth, like an old door being pushed open. I asked, what about letters? Half is missing. I laughed. What a coincidence. My document is missing a page. And your letter is missing half. He did not refute. So I've been checking. Find out about me. Yes, Jiang Yubai. You are honest. My voice cooled down. But honesty does not equal trustworthiness. He was silent for a moment and said, you cannot believe me. Don't go back to Shin's house tonight. I stared at him. Do you know that I want to go back to the Shin family? Lu Man contacted Zhou Sichuan today. Zhou Sichuan contacted He Guangcheng's people again. My heart sank. You listen to them. Business investigation. He said it naturally. I should have questioned him. This time, I didn't. 'Cause the information he gives is useful. I asked, what do they want to do? Force you to hand over the trust documents, or make you admit that the document is fake? I glanced at the document bag in my hand. Then I want to go even more. Jiang Yubai frowned slightly. You know it's a trap. I know go back. If I don't go, they'll think I'm afraid. I turned to get in the car. Jiang Yubai suddenly said, Shen Nanxing, you can't win by calming down every time. I stopped. That's better than living on others. I got into the car and closed the door. As the car drove away, I saw him standing there in the rearview mirror. His figure is getting farther and farther away. Questions in my heart did not go away. Is Jiang Yubai an enemy or a friend? I don't know, but I know that I must go to the Shin family's family banquet. At 7 o'clock in the evening, I returned to Shin's house. This villa was bought by my mother during her lifetime, but after her death, the hostess was quickly changed here. Lu Man pulled out all the white roses that his mother liked and replaced them with the red roses she liked. The mother's study was changed to Shin Weiss piano room. My room was moved to the smallest room on the second floor. When I was a child, I once stood at the staircase and asked my father why my mother's things were missing. My father said, people are dead. What's the use of keeping those things? That day, I understood for the first time. After a person leaves, if no one protects everything she leaves behind, she will be wiped off the world little by little. When I walked into the living room, Shen Hong was sitting on the sofa. Lu Man was making tea next to him. Shen Wei is also there. She was wearing a white wedding dress. I stopped in my tracks. That wedding dress is not someone else's. It was the second set of toasting wedding dresses I prepared on my wedding day. I tried it myself. I remember the waistline, the skirt, the shoulder straps. Now it is worn on Shen Wei. She stood up and circled in front of me. Sister, is it good looking? She smiled sweetly. You can't use this wedding dress anyway. I'll try it. I looked at her. Take it off. The smile on Shin Wei's face was even more obvious. Sister, why are you so fierce? What you don't want, can't others wear? Zhou Zichuan walked out of the direction of the restaurant. When I saw him, I was not surprised. He was dressed neatly today and had his hair done. Doesn't look like someone who knelt downstairs yesterday. He stood beside Shin Wei, his tone low. Nanxing, don't make trouble. Today we just want to have a good talk. I watched them stand together. One is wearing my wedding dress. One used to be my groom. They thought it would sting me. Does hurt a little. Not because of love. Because of nausea. Shin Wei deliberately approached Zhou Zichuan. Broth. Saochuan said. This wedding dress suits me very well. Zhou Zichuan's face was a little unnatural, but he didn't push her away. I asked him, didn't you kneel downstairs in my company yesterday and say that you only love me? Shin Wei's face froze. Zhou Zichuan frowned. Nanxing, don't say such unpleasant things at home. At home. I looked around the living room. This is the house my mother bought. Shin Hong put down the teacup heavily. Are you going to quarrel as soon as you come back? I looked at him. You called me back. Lu Man smiled and spoke. Nanxing, we really want to talk. The wedding has become ugly. Your dad has not been feeling well these past 2 days. So don't stimulate him anymore. She put a document on the coffee table. This is a statement. You sign it. I glanced at it. The statement is simple. I need to admit that the wedding day was because of the loss of control, of emotions and misunderstanding the business conversation between Zhou Zichuan and He Guangqing. I need to apologize. I need to delete the recording. I also need to explain that Shanghai Capital has no actual relationship with me. And the hotel acquisition is only a temporary arrangement for external funds. I finished reading it and laughed. You wrote quite completely. Lu Man's tone was gentle. It's a good way for everyone. I asked, is it good for me? The smile on her face faded a little. Nanxing, you can't just look at yourself. I threw the documents back on the coffee table. Then why do you always only look at yourself when you are a human being? Shin Hong said angrily. Shin Nanxing. I ignored him. I opened my bag and took out another document. Since we're going to talk tonight, let's talk about it together. I put the documents on the coffee table. When Zhou Zichuan saw the cover, his face changed instantly. Shin Wei didn't know what was going on yet. She picked it up and took a look. The next second, her smile disappeared. That was a list of Zhou Zichuan's company's debts. There is also a loan agreement between him and He Guangqing. The agreement is clearly written. If the 5 million project funds cannot be recovered, Zhou Zichuan needs to use fiancé-related resources and Shen family cooperation channels as compensation conditions. Fiancé-related resources. These words are more disgusting than the words at the wedding. I looked at Shin Wei. You like him. You can. But you'd better see if he will also write you into the next agreement. Shin Wei's face turned white. Zhou Zichuan immediately said, this document is fake. I looked at him. Is the signature fake? He choked. That's just a vague commercial statement. Doesn't mean what I'm going to do. At the wedding. You have already explained it once. I said every time you do dirty things. You like to say it's just business. Lu Man's face finally changed. She looked at Zhou Zichuan. Saochuan, what's going on? Zhou Zichuan hurriedly explained. Aunt Lu. It was He Guangqing who forced me. I had no other choice. I laughed. You are very good at being forced. Shin Wei smashed the document on Zhou Zichuan. You sold your sister, and you still want to chase me. Zhou Zichuan's face was ugly. Wei Wei listened to my explanation. Don't call me Wei Wei. She shouted. The wedding dress on her body swayed with her movements. Looking funny and pathetic. I stood there without much pleasure in my heart. These people doubt each other and blame each other. Their alliance was already brittle. Just apply a little pressure and it will crack. Shin Hong said angrily. Enough, I'm not going to let you make these noises tonight. He looked at me. Shin Nanxing, hand over the trust documents in your hand. I finally understand the point of tonight. Dad, do you admit you know that document? Shin Hong's eyes sank. Your mother was in a bad mental state back then. And the documents she left behind could not be counted. I looked at him coldly. She is in a bad mental state. Yes, he said firmly. She was suspicious during that time. And always felt that someone was going to harm her. What she left behind has no legal effect. I laughed slowly. You have been preparing this set of words for 10 years. Shin Hong's face was ugly. Lu Man immediately answered. Nanxing, your dad is not trying to rob you of anything. He is just afraid that you will be deceived. You suddenly bought a hotel, and it was publicly related to Shanghai Capital, and many people outside were staring at you. I asked. For example, He Guangqing. Lu Man's fingers paused lightly. I saw it. Very light movement, but enough. She knew He Guangqing. Even she may have been involved. I said, don't worry about you. What my mother left behind. I will take care of it myself. Shin Hong stood up. You can't handle it. I looked at him. 'Cause you're afraid of me dealing with it. His face was pale. Shin Nanxing, don't force me. Don't force me either. I took another piece of paper from my bag. This time, Shin Hong's face changed completely. It was a copy of an old account. Transfer record of a fund from the parent company 10 years ago. Collection account points to the shell company under Shin Hong's name. I put the paper in front of him. Explain this money. The living room was quiet. Lu Man's expression also froze. Shin Hong stared at the paper. his eyes changing from anger to panic. Where did you get it? Doesn't matter. This is the company's internal capital scheduling. Then why was this company cancelled after my mother died? Shin Hong did not answer. I continued. And why? Half a month after the money was transferred, core information of the Blue Bay project disappeared. Shin Hong raised his head suddenly. You check Blue Bay. His reaction was too big. So big that I'm even more sure that Blue Bay is the key. I take back the documents. Yes, you can't check. Why? 'Cause that's not something you should touch. I looked at him. I am Song Zi's daughter. Why can't I touch her things? Shin Hong seemed to be stabbed by this sentence. He pointed at me, his fingers trembling slightly. You are just like her. The same is self-righteous. And the same does not listen to persuasion. My heart suddenly felt cold. A husband has no nostalgia in his eyes when he mentions his dead wife. There is only resentment. I asked, do you hate her? Shin Hong's face changed. Blue Man immediately stood up. Nanxing, your dad is just angry. No. I looked at my father. He hates my mother. Shin Hong's lips were pursed. I asked again. So when she died, were you really sad? With a snap, Shin Hong raised his hand and slapped me. Everyone in the living room was stunned. My face was tilted to the side and my ears were buzzing. When I was a child, he also beat me. It was shortly after my mother died. I cried and said I wanted my mother. He said, if you cry again, get out and look for her. After that slap, I learned to be quiet. Today is different. I slowly turned my face back and looked at him. I'll keep the accounts for your slap. Shin Hong's eyes shocked. I picked up my bag, turned around and walked out. Blue Man chased 2 steps. Nanxing, don't be like this. Your dad was impulsive just now. I stopped. Blue Man, she was stunned. I rarely call her by name. I looked at her. Her voice calm. You asked Shin Wei to wear my wedding dress to humiliate me. You asked Zhou Sichuan to come to stimulate me. You asked my father to force me to hand over the documents because you wanted to take away what my mother left me in the end. Tenderness on her face faded little by little. I found a car following me. A black commercial vehicle. It maintains a distance that is neither far nor too close. I asked the driver to take a detour. The other party also circled. I sent a message to Chin Hee and asked her to check the license plate. Before the news was sent, cars suddenly rushed out of the intersection ahead, blocking the way. Driver slammed on the brakes. I leaned forward and my phone fell to my feet. Commercial vehicle behind also stopped. The door opened, and 3 men came down. The driver's face turned pale. Mr. Shin. What should I do? I bent down to pick up my phone. And just as I was about to call the police, car windows suddenly rang. I turned my head. Jiang Yubai stood outside. He was wearing a black coat and his face was frighteningly cold. I lowered the window. Why are you here? He did not explain. Get off. Jiang Yubai. I don't need you to order me. Now is not the time to be strong. He pulled the car door open and protected me behind him. The 3 men had approached. The leader glanced at Jiang Yubai and hesitated obviously. Mr. Jiang. This is Mr. He's business. Jiang Yubai's voice was very light. Go back and tell He Guangqing. I took him away. Mr. Jiang. Don't make it difficult for us. Jiang Yubai raised his eyes, then let him come to me in person. The other party did not step forward again. After a few seconds, they turned and left. Car in front of it also drove away. I stood on the side of the road, my face hurting a little from the wind. Jiang Yubai looked down at me. His gaze fell on my face. Shin Hong hit. I didn't answer. Coldness in his eyes was even heavier. I said, you knew something was going to happen tonight. I reminded you. So you follow me. Yes. I looked at him. Jiang Yubai, why the hell are you helping me? He was silent for a moment. Then he said, 'Cause I owe your mother a life. Then my heart stopped. What do you mean? He did not answer immediately. At that moment, I saw blood on the cuff of his left hand. Blood drips down the back of the hand. I grabbed his hand. Are you injured? As if he had just discovered. He said softly, small injury. When did you get hurt? Just now. I looked in the direction the men were leaving. I just saw him standing outside the car window. I didn't see that he had already done anything with anyone. Jiang Yubai withdrew his hand. Get out of here first. I got into the car with him. Along the way, we didn't speak. My mind is full of what he just said. He owes my mother a life. If true, what is his relationship with his mother? If it is fake, why did he make up such a lie? Car was parked downstairs in my apartment. Jiang Yubai asked the driver to hand me a medicine box. You need to deal with your face. I took it, but didn't get out of the car. Jiang Yubai, where is that page in your father's safe? He looked at me. Lost, I sneered. I lost it again. I didn't lie to you. Then show me your father's letter. He was silent. Can't see it. Not now. Why? 'Cause there is a name in that letter. I can't confirm it yet. I stared at him. Related to my mother's death. Yes. I opened the door. Come to me when you can make it clear. I got out of the car and left without looking back. When I returned to the apartment, I put the medicine kit on the table. Did not immediately treat the wound on my face. I took all the documents out of my bag. Photocopy of the trust. Half a piece of paper left by my mother. Old account records. All clues point to Blue Bay. What is the Blue Bay hiding? I turned on my computer and looked up old information about the Blue Bay project. There is little information available to the public. The news from 10 years ago was almost cleaned up. Only a short report remains. Song Zi, person in charge of the Blue Bay project of Song Group, died in a car accident on a rainy night. The photos in the report are photos of my mother's work when she was young. She looked at the camera, her eyes calm and determined. I looked at her, and my eyes suddenly soured. Mom, I whispered. I'll look into it. At 1 o'clock in the morning, the doorbell rang suddenly. I didn't move. This time, there will be no normal visitors. The doorbell rang again. I picked up my phone and opened the door to monitor. There was no one on the screen. There was only a black box left at the door. I waited for a few minutes to make sure it was quiet outside before opening the door. Corridor is empty. Hat box was small and placed on the doormat. I took it in and closed the door. The box is not signed. I opened the lid. A necklace was placed inside. Thin silver chain. Pendant is a small sapphire. My breathing stopped instantly. This is the necklace most often worn by my mother during her lifetime. After the accident, my father said it fell into the sea and could never be found again. But now, it's lying in the palm of my hand. Under the necklace, there is a note. There is only one line on it. If you want to know how she died, just come to Blue Bay alone. I held my mother's necklace and stood in the living room for a long time. There is no wind outside the window, but I felt very cold. That necklace is real. There is a very fine scratch on the back of the pendant that I accidentally dropped when I was a child. I played my mother's necklace that day and dropped it on the ground. I cried in fright. My mother didn't scold me. She just picked me up and said to me, if something is broken, you can fix it. But if someone is injured, you have to speak up. But after she died, no one asked me if it hurt again. I held the necklace in my palm, and the words on the note were still in front of me. If you want to know how she died, just come to Blue Bay alone. I know it's a trap. The other party couldn't be kind enough to tell me the truth. They took out my mother's necklace just to force me to go. But I can't pretend I didn't see it. That was one of the last things my mother left behind. I took a picture of the note and sent it to Chin Hee. Then I copied and backed up all the files and uploaded them to an encrypted mailbox. After doing this, I changed into a black trench coat and put a small voice recorder in my inner pocket. I also turned on location sharing on my phone. I didn't tell Jiang Yubai. It's not because I can't trust him, but I can't be sure which side he is on. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I drove to Blue Bay. The rain came up halfway. Big. The wipers kept swinging. The road ahead was still blurry. Closer you get to the sea, the fewer street lights. Blue Bay has been abandoned for many years. The billboard on the side of the road was swayed by the wind, and the project's slogan of the year still remained on it. Blue Bay International Resort. Restart a new life on the coast. This is a mother's project. It was also the most important plan before her death. I parked my car outside the old construction site. The rain hits the car windows, and the sound is like a dense drumbeat. I picked up my phone and the signal was weak. I looked at the location sharing on the screen, confirmed that it was still running, and then pushed the door to get out of the car. The sea breeze blows in the face, with a salty and chilly taste. I walked into an abandoned construction site. It was pitch black inside. In the distance, there is an unfinished building, like a black monster, crouching in the rain. As soon as I reached the entrance, a bunch of car lights suddenly came on. I raised my hand to block my eyes. Behind the headlights, someone slowly walked out. He Guangqing stood in the rain with a black umbrella. He was followed by 4 men. I stopped. You sent the necklace. He Guangqing smiled. You're really here. Let me ask you. Did you send the necklace? Yes. He looked at me in a tone like he was talking about an old collection. After Song Zi's death, I searched for a long time before I got this necklace. I didn't expect that after so many years, it would still be able to lure you out. My fingers tightened. You know my mother. Of course I know. How did she die? He Guangqing slowly approached. Do you really want to know? Yes. He smiled. Your mother is too confident. She thought that as long as she held the Blue Bay project, she could overwhelm everyone. She refused to give in. Sign or shut up. I looked at him. The rain dripped down the ends of my hair. I didn't move. The voice recorder in the inner pocket is working. He Guangqing seemed to enjoy my silence. He said, Song Zi at that time was harder than you are now. She said Blue Bay is not a tool for us to make money. She said that this land should be made into a place that can really save people. He shook his head gently. So naive. So you harmed her. He Guangqing looked at me. Miss Shin, you must have evidence when you speak. I take a step forward. You called me here tonight. Didn't you just want to tell me this? I called you here to give you a chance. People around him took out a document. He Guangqing handed me the document. Sign it. I didn't answer. What is this? Equity transfer confirmation. All assets related to Song Zi in your name, including the inheritance rights and interests of the Blue Bay project, have been transferred to the company designated by me. I looked at the document and suddenly smiled. You have been waiting for 10 years. Just for this. He Guangcheng's face turned cold. 10 years ago you were too young to have no value. Now it's different. Because I bought the hotel. Cause of Shanghai Capital. Cause you may have the last page in your hand. My heart tightened suddenly. He knew the last page of the trust document, but I didn't show it on my face. What last page? He Guangqing stared at me. Shen Nanxing. It's useless to pretend to be stupid in front of me. Song Zi hid the real inheritance right on the last page of the trust without that page. Many things can only be temporarily frozen, but as long as you find it, Blue Bay will come back to you. I finally understood. They are not afraid that I will investigate the death of my mother. They are afraid that I will take Blue Bay back. The death of the mother and the Blue Bay project were originally the same thing. I asked, "Where's that page?" He Guangqing smiled. "I want to know too." After he finished speaking, his eyes became cold. "So you have to hand over everything you know now." I took half a step back. "What if I don't sign?" The man behind He Guangqing immediately stepped forward. One of them grabbed my bag. I struggled hard. "Let go." The man pulled my bag directly over and took out his phone. He turned off his phone and threw it into the standing water next. To him the screen went black instantly. My heart sank. Positioning is broken. Another person reached out and grabbed my wrist. I avoided it. "There are too many of tea." He Guangqing stood aside with an umbrella. His tone calm. "Miss Shin, don't get hurt. I'm old and don't like to watch young people bleed." I said coldly. "You are very good at pretending to be kind." He sighed. "If your mother had bowed her head like you back then, she might not have died." This sentence pierced him like a knife. I stared at him. So she really wasn't accidental. He Guangqing did not deny it. He just said, her death was her own choice. She refused to sign or back down. A woman wants to win too much. And often it doesn't end well. I heard a small vibration of the recorder in the inner pocket. As long as this recording is still there, I have a chance. But in the next second, He Guangqing suddenly looked at my trench coat. "Do you think I didn't know you could record?" Before I could react, the man had already held my hand and took out the recorder from my inner pocket. He handed the recorder to He Guangqing. He Guangqing took it in his hand, glanced at it, and threw it on the ground. He crushed it with his leather shoes. Song Zi's daughter is still too young. When the cracking sound sounded, my heart sank. The evidence is gone. The phone is gone. I was stuck in Blue Bay, but I didn't let myself panic. Panic will only make them more proud. I looked at the document. "If I sign, will you tell me the truth?" He Guangqing smiled. "When you finish signing, it'll let you know what you need to know." "I want to see my mother's complete information first." "Impossible." "Then I won't sign." The smile on He Guangqing's face slowly disappeared. "Shen Nanxing, I gave you a chance." He raised his hand. The man next to me immediately grabbed my shoulder and pressed me to a makeshift table. The documents were pushed in front of me. Pen is also placed next to it. Rainwater leaked from the roof of the shed and landed on the paper. My hand was held down. He Guangqing whispered, "Sign." I looked at the pen. Just as my fingers were about to touch the pen, the sound of cars suddenly came from the distance. The dazzling lights broke through the rain and shone directly into the construction site. Everyone turned their heads. A black off-road vehicle stopped suddenly. The doors open. Jiang Yubai got out of the car. He didn't hold an umbrella. The rain CKLY with his black coat. His face was colder than a rainy night. He Guangqing narrowed his eyes. "Mr. Jiang, you came quickly." Jiang Yubai looked at me. After confirming that I was still standing, he looked at He Guangqing. "Let him go." He Guangqing smiled. "This is a private matter between me and Miss Shin. She doesn't want to talk to you." "How do you know?" Jiang Yubai approached step by step. "'Cause if she wants to talk, she won't let me find out here." I looked at him and my heart was shocked. He knew I was coming. He found me anyway. He Guangqing handed the umbrella to the people around him. "Jiang Yubai, your father didn't dare to talk to me like this back then." Jiang Yubai's voice was cold. "So he died." He Guangqing's face finally changed. "What do you mean?" "I mean, you guys have kept secrets from dead people for too long." The air suddenly tightened. He Guangqing raised his hand. Several men rushed towards Jiang Yubai at the same time. There were also people rushing in around Jiang Yubai. The scene was instantly chaotic. Someone grabbed me. I knocked him away with all my might, and my arm was scratched and numb in pain. Jiang Yubai saw it, and his face was even colder. He took a few steps and pulled me behind me. "Can you leave?" I gritted my teeth and nodded. "Yes." He escorted me out. Someone chased after him. A muffled sound. Jiang Yubai blocked it for me. I heard him take a low breath. "Are you injured? Let's go." He didn't answer. I was pushed into the car by him. When the car rushed out of the construction site, the rain was even heavier. I looked back and saw He Guangqing standing in the rain. He didn't chase, just looking at me from a distance. The look seemed to say that this matter was not over yet. It was quiet in the car. I was sitting in the back seat, my arms still bleeding. Jiang Yubai sat next to me, his face pale. I saw blood on his right shoulder. "Your shoulder is injured." "Minor injury." "You say it's a minor injury every time." He didn't speak. I looked at him. "How do you know him in Blue Bay?" "Sheen, he contacted me." I was stunned. "Why did she contact you?" "You sent her a note and a photo. She can't find the other party, and she can't contact you, so she can only look for me." I closed my eyes. "Fortunately, I sent it to Chin He. Otherwise, you might really not be able to get out tonight." Car didn't go back to my house. Jiang Yubai took me to a private clinic. The doctor treated my arm wound. Jiang Yubai was dealing with his shoulder next door, through a half-open door. I heard the doctor say that the wound was deep. Jiang Yubai just said softly. So he didn't even frown. I looked at my wound and felt confused. He saved me, but he still hides a lot of things. I hate that feeling. I don't want to owe him. I don't want to be moved by his protection when I don't know the truth. After treating the wound, it was almost dawn. Jiang Yubai sent me back to the apartment. Before getting out of the car, he handed me a small object. It was an old voice recorder. I looked at him. What is this? Your mother left it. My hands froze. Why do you have it? One of the things in my father's safe. I didn't answer immediately. Jiang Yubai, how many things have you hidden related to my mother? He looked at me, with fatigue in his eyes and pain that I couldn't understand. A lot my heart sank. He did not deny it. He continued. I have always wanted to wait for the evidence to be complete before telling you, but after tonight, I know I can't wait. I took the voice recorder. Fingers trembled a little. What's inside? A recording left by your mother before the accident. I looked up at him. Have you heard of it? I've heard it. Why didn't you give it to me earlier? Jiang Yubai was silent for a long time. 'Cause it also mentions the Jiang family. My heart sank little by little. I returned to the apartment with the recorder. After closing the door, I stood in the entrance and did not open it immediately. I was afraid. I finally admitted that I was afraid to hear the truth about my mother's death. 'Cause once the truth comes out, I can no longer pretend that I am just a daughter who was snubbed by my father. I will become a person who must take revenge. But I've come this far. I have no way out. I connect the voice recorder to the computer. There is only one audio in the folder. Time was 10 years ago. The night of my mother's accident. I clicked. First there was a burst of electricity. Then there is the mother's voice. Her voice was more tired than I remembered. If this recording is saved, it means that something may have happened to me. My tears welled up almost instantly. I bit my lip and didn't cry. The mother continued. Nanqing, if you hear this, don't be afraid. Mom didn't leave you on purpose. The Blue Bay project is too deeply involved. He Guangqing wanted it. And Shenhong wanted it too. There are people behind them. I held my breath. I have put the real inheritance in the trust. The last page is not in the Shin family. Remember, don't trust Shenhong. Don't believe He Guangqing. There was a hurried knock on the door from the recording. The mother's voice became lower. There is another person. I can't be sure whether he is friend or foe now. My fingers clenched. A few seconds later, the mother said the name. Jiang Yuanshan. I froze in my chair. Jiang Yuan Mountain. Jiang Yubai's father. The recording continues. The mother's voice was urgent. If I can't come back, check Lanwan. Check that mortgage document. Check bang. The sound of the door being slammed open came from the recording. Chaos ensued. The mother did not say the full words. The audio came to an abrupt end. I sat in front of the computer. Chilling all over. Congratulations on Guangqing. Shenhong. Jiangyuan Mountain. 3 names are like 3 knives. Placed in front of me. I finally understood why Jiang Yubai didn't give it to me earlier. 'Cause this recording doesn't just point to my enemies, also pointed to his father. I picked up my phone and called Jiang Yubai. After the phone was connected, none of us spoke first. Finally, I spoke. Jiang Yubai. I heard it. His voice was low. Seems like I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I asked him, what did your father do to my mother? The other end of the phone was silent for a long time. So long that I thought he wouldn't answer. Then he said, I want to know too. I laughed. Tears fell. You've said this too many times. I hung up. At dawn, a set of photos suddenly broke out on the internet. In the photo, Jiang Yubai and I got out of the same car on a rainy night in Blue Bay. The angle is ambiguous. Title is more vicious. After the wedding of Shin's daughter broke off the engagement, she had a private meeting with the Jiang family in power late at night. The female boss of Shanghai capital is suspected of relying on men to get on top. Zhou Zichuan may become a victim of the struggle of the wealthy. I looked at the screen and there was no accident. He Guangqing made a move. He destroyed the recording, snatched my phone, and took the photo. He wants to turn me from a victim into a joke. Immediately afterwards, Zhou Zichuan posted a public video. In the video, he has a haggard face and a hoarse voice. He said, I admit that I said the wrong thing on the wedding day. But I never thought about hurting Namsung. Problem between us may not have been feelings from the beginning. That she had someone else for a long time. He didn't name Jiang Yubai, but everyone knows who he is. Soon, the Shin family also issued a statement. The statement said that my recent emotional instability and out-of-control behavior have seriously affected my family's reputation. The Shin family will suspend all affairs related to me. I looked at the statement and suddenly felt calm. These people finally and together. Very good. The more concentrated the enemy, the easier it is for me to fight. At 10 a.m. Shanghai Capital's conference room was full. Several partners have requested a suspension of investment. In Blue Bay, someone asked me what the relationship between me and Jiang Yubai was. Some people asked if the photos on the internet were true or false. Some people even asked if Shanghai Capital was supported by Jiang's funds. I sat on the main seat and looked at them. The photo is real. Conference room was quiet. Someone frowned. I continued. Content is fake. I asked Shin He to turn on the projection. A screenshot of the surveillance of the Blue Bay section appears on the screen. At 2:14 a.m. My car entered Blue Bay. At 2:47 a.m. He Guangcheng's car left at 2:56 a.m. Jiang Yubai's car entered. Timeline is clear. I looked at the crowd. I'll go to Blue Bay first. Jiang Yubai arrived later. He is not a private meeting object. He is a rescuer. Someone asked, why did you go to Blue Bay in the middle of the night? I said, 'Cause someone led me with my mother's relics. Conference room is quieter. I took out a photo of the necklace and a photo of the note. This is a necklace that has been missing for 10 years after my mother's death. Someone delivered it to my door and asked me to go to Blue Bay alone. I paused. I went because I want to know the truth about my mother's death. Some partners' faces changed. Mr. Shin. You mean Ms. Song Zi had a problem with the car accident back then? I looked at him. Yes, this word fell, and the conference room was completely quiet. I continued. I will publicly call the police and apply to re-examine the capital flow related to the Blue Bay project that year. As for the slander against my private life on the internet, I haven't trusted a lawyer to deal with it. Some people still want to ask. The door to the conference room suddenly opened. Jiang Yubai walked in. He still had a wound on his shoulder, but his suit was neatly dressed. His presence silenced everyone. I frowned at him. He didn't look at others. Only at me. Sorry I'm late. I said coldly. This is not the Jiang conference room. I know he placed a document on the table. This is the record of Jiang's security vehicle and my injury certificate. Last night can prove that I went to Blue Bay to save people. He looked at the crowd again. Jiang will not withdraw from the cooperation that is being negotiated with Shanghai Capital. Someone in the conference room immediately changed his face. Jiang's attitude is very important. Jiang Yubai's words were enough to stabilize half of the situation. But I am not grateful. After the meeting, I called him to the office. The door closed. And I asked directly, why are you here? Help you. I said I don't need you to clear it for me. I didn't do it for you. He looked at me. I'm just providing evidence. Jiang Yubai, do you think that as long as you save me, as long as you give evidence, I should believe you? His eyes sank. I didn't think so. Then tell me. I picked up the recorder on the table. What did Jiang Yuanshan do? He looked at the recorder and was silent for a long time. My father left a suicide note before he died. He said he didn't harm your mother, but he knew someone would harm her. Who? Half of the suicide note is missing. I laughed. It's missing again. I put the recorder in front of him. Jiang Yubai, I've had enough of these incomplete evidence, incomplete documents, and incomplete truths. Each of you says you have a hard time. It's my mother who can die. I am the one who is used as a bargaining chip. I was also deceived by everyone. His face turned slightly pale. I continued. From today onwards, you should stop approaching me in the name of protecting me, unless you can put the full truth in front of me. Jiang Yubai looked at me. After a long time, he whispered, okay. He turned and left. The moment the office door closed, I finally couldn't hold on any longer and sat back in my chair. I thought I was calm enough, but I'm not a machine. I will hurt. It will be tired. It will also cause undue dependence because a person appears again and saves me again and again. So I had to push him away. I can't hand myself over before the truth comes out. In the evening, I listened to my mother's recording again. This time, I amplified the last noise. After the door was knocked open, there was a blurry male voice in the recording. Very low, but I still heard a few words. Song Zi. Sign that was not He Guangcheng's voice. Is not Jiang Yubai's father. I have listened to that voice for more than 20 years. Shin Hong. My father. I stared at the audio waveform, my fingers getting a little cold. A few minutes later, an email was sent to me by an unfamiliar email address. Attached is a candid video. Title is only 4 words. The real murderer. I click on the video. Picture is very dark, like surveillance in a corner of an office 10 years ago. In the video, the mother stands at her desk. Her face pale. Shin Hong stood opposite her. He was much younger, but his eyes were just as cold as they are now. The mother said, I will file for divorce. I will leave the company and Blue Bay to Nanxing. Shin Hong slammed the table slammed. If you leave everything to Nanxing, I will let her lose you forever. The video is here. And the screen suddenly goes black. My hands are frozen on the mouse. The blood in the whole body seemed to be frozen. Turned out that the last person to walk into his mother's office was not He Guangcheng. It's my father. I sat in front of the computer and watched the video over and over. Again. Very time I look at it, my heart feels a little colder. Shin Hong's words were not angry words. That's a threat. It is a husband's threat to his wife. It is also a father's threat to his daughter's fate. I always knew he was selfish, knowing that he is weak, know that he is partial, but I never thought that he might have pushed my mother to death with his own hands. The video is only about 30 seconds. There is no antecedent. There are no consequences, but it was enough for me to see a lot of things. I made 3 copies of the video and deposited them into different accounts. Then I called Shin He. Check the source of the email. Shin He heard that my voice was wrong. Mr. Shin. Something happened. Someone sent me a video from 10 years ago. The other end of the phone was quiet for a second. Is it related to MS Song? Yes. I'll check it out right away. After hanging up the phone, I didn't call the police immediately. The evidence is incomplete. He Guangcheng, Shin Hong, Lu Man and the Jiang family who may be involved. Each of them has a way of turning a video from an unknown source into a void. I had to get more. When it was almost dawn, Jiang Yubai came. I didn't open the door for him. He stood outside the door, and the sound came through the door panel. Shin Nanxing, I know you received the video. I looked up sharply. How would he know? I walked to the door and didn't open it. You monitor my mailbox. No, then how do you know? He was silent for a moment. 'Cause of that video. It was also sent to me. I opened the door. Jiang Yubai stood outside the door. His face very bad. His shoulder injury hasn't healed yet. And there's a hint of wrinkle on the collar of his shirt. I step aside. He walked in. I closed the door and asked directly, who sent it? I can't find it for the time being. You can't find it either. The other party used a lot of springboards. I looked at him. Is the video true? I found someone to do a preliminary test, and there were no obvious traces of editing. This sentence is like the last nail. I sat on the sofa and suddenly felt very tired. Jiang Yubai stood in front of me and did not approach. He knew very well that I didn't want to be comforted right now. I asked, does your father know about this? Jiang Yubai said, maybe I know some of it. Which part? He knows that Shinhong and Guangqing have forced your mother. He also knew that there was a problem with the Blue Bay mortgage documents. So why didn't he call the police? Jiang Yubai's Adam's apple moved. 'Cause his hands are not clean either. I looked up at him. He finally said, at that time, Jiang provided a bridge fund to Blue Bay. That money was a legal investment. But later, someone made a mortgage document in Jiang's name to mortgage the core rights of the Blue Bay project to the Jiang family. Signed by your father. No, are you sure? Sure. Jiang Yubai looked at me. I checked the handwriting and the authorization process. That document was forged. Then why didn't your father clarify? 'Cause at that time, there was a fierce internal fight within the Jiang family. If he publicly admits that the documents were forged, the Jiang family will collapse. He chose to suppress it first and then investigate privately. I sneered. So he chose to let the truth sink for Jiang's sake. Jiang Yubai did not defend. Yes. I looked at him. What about you? He was silent. I continued to ask. Did you approach me at the beginning to help me, or to help the Jiang family clear up? His eyes hurt slightly. I already have the answer, but I still have to listen to him. Jiang Yubai whispered. At the beginning, it was to find out whether my father was responsible. My heart felt like it was being pressed hard. I laughed. So am also your clue. No, isn't it? I stood up. You check me, approach me, remind me, save me, and record me. You do all this not just because you want to help me. You want to know if your father is innocent. You want to give the Jiang family a result. Jiang Yubai looked at me and lowered his voice. Shen Nanxing. I admit that I had a purpose at the beginning. Then not. Later. I think it's ironic. Later you thought I was pitiful. Or do you think I deserve your liking? He didn't speak. I continued. Jiang Yubai. You are different from them. But you also lied to me. After the words fell, the room was quiet. I could see the pain in his eyes. But I am not soft-hearted. My pain was earlier and deeper than his. He whispered. I'm sorry. I said. You go. He didn't move. I looked at the door. I don't want to say it a second time. He stood for a few seconds and turned to leave. After the door closed, I leaned against the wall and slowly slid to the ground. I didn't cry. Crying too slowly. I don't have time. At 9 o'clock in the morning, he arrived with the latest news. Mr. Shin. Guangqing has a move over there. I looked up. Say he joined forces with Shinhong and several old shareholders to demand an extraordinary shareholders meeting of Shanghai Capital. They question your inheritance status and your interest in Blue Bay. I wasn't surprised. Time. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Very good. He frowned. Mr. Shin. They came too fast. Seems to have been prepared for a long time. Of course. I turned on the computer and pulled out all the Shin family statements. Zhou Sichuan recordings. And Guangcheng's capital flow. They know that I have a video in my hand. So they want to kick me off the table first. He asked. What should we do? I looked out the window. The sky was gloomy. Seems to be raining again. Meeting what? If they want to drive, I will accompany them to drive. I pause. Also contact lawyer Gu. He nodded. What else? I said check all of Shinhong's overseas accounts in the past 10 years, especially under Lu Man's name. He immediately understood. Do you suspect that they transferred MS Song's assets? Not a suspicion. I looked at Shinhong's hypocritical face on the computer screen. Yes, sure. The next afternoon, the extraordinary shareholders meeting was held at the headquarters of Shanghai Capital. There were a lot of people in the conference room. Guangqing is here. Shinhong is here. Lu Man also came. Zhou Sichuan sat in the corner, his face pale, but he pretended to be calm. Shen Wei also appeared. She wore a white suit with exquisite makeup. She saw me with pride in her eyes. I know what they want to do today. They want to make me a liar. Person who is emotionally unstable. Person who steals assets in his mother's name. When I walked in to the conference room, all eyes fell on me. Guangqing sat next to the main seat. Like this was already his place. I walked over. Mr. He is sitting in the wrong position. He smiled. Miss Shin, after today, this position may not belong to you. I looked at him. Then you should cherish the time you are sitting now. I sit down in the main seat. The meeting begins. An old shareholder stood up first. Mr. Shin. Company's public opinion crisis has been serious recently, and your personal behavior has affected the company's interests. We need you to explain the source of Shanghai Capital's funding and the relationship between you and MS Song Zi's estate. I said yes. Another person immediately said, before you explain, let's ask Mr. Shinhong to explain the situation. Shinhong stood up. His eyes were cold when he looked at me. Everyone is Nangsing's father. I was reluctant to take family affairs to the company to talk, but at this point, I have to be clear. He pulled out a document. Before Song Ziyi's death, his mental state had been unstable. Some of the so-called trusts and wills she left behind were incomplete, and had not been confirmed by me. I listened without interrupting. Shin Hong continued. Nanxing has been affected by his mother's death since he was a child, and is emotionally sensitive. Recently she suddenly claimed that she was the sole heir to Song's assets, bought a hotel, attacked her fiancé, and maliciously slandered her family. I don't think she's fit to manage a company anymore. Lu Man lowered his head gently next to him. Like a stepmother who was worried about her family. Zhou Zichuan also stood up. I can testify. He looked at me with a false pain in his eyes. Nanxing has always been obsessed with her mother's death. On the day of the wedding, she misunderstood my conversation with Mr. He and put the private recording online, causing my company to suffer huge losses. I suspect that someone is behind her manipulating her. After he finished speaking, he glanced at the empty door. I know he is hinting at Jiang Yubai, but Jiang Yubai didn't come. Very good. I don't need him to come. Shen Wei also stood up. Her voice was soft. My sister used to say that my father and my mother killed Aunt Song. She had no evidence. We all thought she was just too. Oh, sad, her eyes were red. I hope everyone doesn't blame her. She probably really needs a break. This set of cooperation is very complete. My father said I was not qualified. My ex-fiancé said I was being manipulated. My stepsister said I had mental problems. They want to destroy my credibility first. After listening, I applauded gently. Everyone in the conference room looked at me. I said, are you done? Shen Hong frowned. Nanxing, now is not the time for you to be willful. Then it's my turn. I asked Shin He to open the first document. A notarized record of Song Zi's establishment of a trust during his lifetime appeared on the screen. Lawyer Gu stood up. Many people in the conference room changed their faces. Although Lawyer Gu has not appeared for many years, he is still famous in the old financial circle. He said, I can prove that mess. Song Zi set up a legal trust during her lifetime. Trust clearly stipulates that when MS Shen Nanxing becomes an adult, she will become the main beneficiary of Song's related assets. Shen Hong immediately said, trust is incomplete. Lawyer Gu looked at him. Mr. Shen, trust copy is indeed missing a page, but missing pages do not mean that the whole is invalid. What's more, today I brought another document. My heart stopped. Lawyer Gu looked at me and nodded slightly. Chin He opened the second document. It was a scanned copy of the full will. It has the mother's signature, notarization number, and multiple witness records. This will has been kept in an overseas law firm. Previously, it was not disclosed because the launch conditions had not yet been completed. Shen Hong's face changed instantly. How did you have this? Lawyer Gu looked at him calmly. Ms. Song Zi had long expected that someone would try to destroy domestic documents. There was an uproar in the conference room. I looked at Shen Hong. Dad, mother is smarter than you think. His lips turned white. Lu Man no longer pretended to be gentle. She stared at the screen. Contents of the will are clearly displayed. Company, Blue Bay related rights, and some overseas accounts under Song Zi's name are the ultimate beneficiaries. Shen Hong is only a temporary administrator. The authority of the temporary administrator will automatically terminate after my 27th birthday. In other words, legally speaking, he was long ineligible to use the assets left by his mother. I looked at Shen Hong. How many things have you taken over the years as a temporary manager? He said angrily. I am your father. What's wrong with me helping you manage the company? Manage. I put out the third document. This is the flow of your money transferred. A long list of account records appears on the screen. From the mother company to the Shin Hong Shell Company, and then to the overseas account under Lu Man's name. The meeting room was completely quiet. Lu Man's face turned pale. Ishan Wei looked at her in disbelief. Mom Lu Man did not answer. Zhou Zichuan quietly retracted. I turned to look at him. Zhou Zichuan, don't worry. His debt agreement, perjury chat records, and surveillance screenshots of his meeting with Lu Man appeared on the screen. 3 of the testimonies you submitted yesterday are inconsistent with the facts. The lawyer will handle it. Zhou Zichuan's face turned pale. Nanxing, just shut up. I interrupted him for the first time at a meeting. I don't want to hear you say a word of nonsense again. He froze in place. He Guangqing finally spoke. Miss Shen is very prepared. I looked at him. Does Mr. He like it? He laughed. But it's not enough. The lawyer beside him took out another document. Everyone the Blue Bay project was mortgaged to Jiang's group back. Then even if MS Shen Nanxing inherits MS Song Zi's rights and interests, she cannot bypass this mortgage. The file is thrown onto the screen. It is written that the Song family had borrowed money from the Jiang family with the income rights of the core land of Blue Bay as collateral. The signature is the mother's name. Conference room was chaotic again. Someone whispered, if the mortgage is valid, Blue Bay doesn't exactly belong to her. Jiang also has rights. The restart of Blue Bay by Shanghai Capital is very risky. I stared at the document. It was mentioned in the mother's recording. Check that mortgage document. Key. He Guangqing looked at me, and finally had a smile in his eyes. Miss Shen, your mother was not as clean as you thought back then. For money, she will also sign a mortgage. I said coldly. Shut up. He Guangqing smiled deeper. Are you in a hurry? I was about to open my mouth when the door to the conference room was suddenly pushed open. Everyone turned back. Jiang Yubai walked in. He was followed by 2 lawyers and a bank representative. I looked at him, and my heart tightened. I obviously didn't let him come. Jiang Yubai didn't look at me first. He looked at He Guangqing. This mortgage document is fake. He Guangqing's face darkened. Mr. Jiang. Speak responsibly. Of course I'm responsible. Jiang Yubai asked the lawyer to submit the information. This is Jiang's real borrowing record back then. Song did borrow a bridge fund from Jiang. But it was not collateralized by Blue Bay's core interests. Bank representatives also stood up. We have checked the fund flow and registration information of the year, and the mortgage documents on the screen do not have the corresponding registration number, nor do they have bank acceptance records. Jiang Yubai took out another handwriting appraisal. Signatures are also forgeries. He Guangqing's face finally changed. Jiang Yubai, for a woman, you dare to deny even your father's documents back then. Jiang Yubai looked at him. What I deny is forgery of documents. He Guangqing said coldly. Think clearly. Denying it, Jiang would lose all claims to Blue Bay. Jiang didn't have it in the first place. Jiang Yubai's voice was very calm. I won't take things that don't belong to the Jiang family. At that moment, conference room was quiet. I looked at him. I know it wasn't easy for him to make this choice. If he admits that the mortgage documents are valid, Jiang can participate in the Blue Bay distribution. That's a huge benefit. But he gave up. He is on the side of the truth. At least this time. He didn't lie to me. Jiang Yubai finally looked at me. His gaze was quiet, as if to say, he didn't ask me for forgiveness. He just did what he had to do. I look away, 'cause I can't be soft-hearted yet. The meeting quickly spiraled out of control. He Guangqing wanted to leave early, but was stopped by the lawyer brought by Qin He. Lawyer Gu announced that Shinhong's temporary management authority has been terminated. Shanghai Capital will officially hold Shinhong and Lu Man accountable for transferring assets. Zhou Sichuan will also be prosecuted for commercial fraud and false testimony. Shen Wei's face turned pale and finally she didn't dare to speak. The end of the meeting. Shinhong rushed in front of me. Shen Nanxing, do you have to destroy this family? I looked at him. This home has long been ruined. I'm your dad. I know my voice was soft. So I endured you for many years. His eyes trembled. I continued. But I won't endure it anymore. Shinhong's face showed a kind of ruthlessness that I was familiar with. You'll regret it. I looked at him. Zhou Sichuan said this. He Guangqing also said. Now it's your turn to speak. He was stopped by security and forced to leave. Lu Man followed him. His steps a little chaotic. Shen Wei looked back at me when she walked to the door. There was no pride in her eyes, only hatred. Zhou Sichuan wanted to stay and talk to me. I didn't give him a chance. Let him out. The security guard immediately blocked him. He hurriedly said, Nanxing, I was forced just now that Lu Man asked me to say that. And He Guangqing also looked for me. I don't really want to harm you. I looked at him. You're being forced every time. His face turned pale. I really regret it. Your regrets are worthless. He was taken away by security. Conference room finally fell silent. Jiang Yubai was still standing by the door after everyone left. He walked up to me. Are you okay? I looked at him. Why are you here? 'Cause the mortgage documents are related to the Jiang family. Just because of this. He paused. Also because of you. My heart moved slightly, but I quickly pressed it down. Jiang Yubai, I haven't forgiven you yet. I know what you did today cannot offset your previous concealment. I know. He looked at me in a low voice. I don't beg you to believe me right away. I just want to be on the side of the truth. I didn't speak, 'cause this sentence carries more weight than any explanation. I lowered my head to sort out the documents. Suddenly the phone vibrated. It was a message from an unfamiliar number. There is only one video inside. I clicked. Picture is clearer than the previous paragraph. This time, the video continues from the previous content. The mother stood in the office. Pale Shinhong blocked the door. He Guangqing sat on the sofa. Lu Man stood by the window. There is also a man with his back to the camera. He was wearing a dark suit and couldn't see his face clearly. The mother's voice trembled. She was very determined. I want sign. Blue Bay won't give it to you. Shinhong rushed over and grabbed her arm. Song Zi, don't force me. Mother shook him off. I have handed over the evidence of your and Lu Man's transfer of assets to the lawyer. Shinhong. We're done. Shinhong's face instantly became hideous. He lowered his voice and said, if you leave everything to Nanxing, I will let her lose you forever. In the video, the mother takes a step back. She looked at the man with her back to the camera. Jiang Yuanshan, do you want to watch them do this? My breathing stopped suddenly. The end of the video. The man slowly turned around. Picture was interrupted a second before he turned around. The screen went black. Immediately afterwards, another line of words jumped out. If you want to watch the full video, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, take Jiang Yubai to the old warehouse in Blue Bay. I put my phone on the table. Jiang Yubai also saw the news. The office was terribly quiet. I asked him, your father was there that night too? Jiang Yubai's face turned a little whiter. Yes, this time. He didn't say he didn't know. I looked up at him. You guessed it a long time ago. He was silent for a long time. I guessed. These 3 words are more cruel than denial. I laughed. So you have never dared to give me the full truth. Because you are afraid that your father will really be present. Jiang Yubai did not defend himself. Yes, I looked at him. Are you going now? Go. What would you do if the full video proved your father was involved? Jiang Yubai looked at me. His voice low but clear. He'll hand it over. I stared into his eyes. I want to see the hesitation from the inside. But no, he was in pain. There was no back down. I retracted my gaze. Okay. At 7:30 the next night, Jiang Yubai and I arrived outside the old warehouse in Blue Bay. This time, we didn't go alone. He took the lawyer and security guard on the periphery. Police have also received anonymous clues and are deploying control nearby. I don't want to put myself in the same trap again. The old warehouse is close to the sea. The wind is strong. Tin door was blown to make a screeching sound. Jiang Yubai and I walked in. There was only one light in the warehouse. There is a table under the lamp. There is an old computer on the table. Computer screen is on. A man sat next to him. He wears a hat and is very thin. I admitted it for a few seconds before I spoke. Uncle Chen. The man slowly looked up. He looked at me. And his eyes instantly turned red. Miss Nanxing, Uncle Chen, my mother's driver during her lifetime. Also the person who disappeared after the car accident. Everyone said he died in that car accident. But he is alive now. I took a step forward. You're not dead. He shook his head. His voice hoarse. I was not in the car that night, Mr. Song had an accident. I was knocked unconscious and thrown in an abandoned warehouse. When I woke up, car accident had already happened. My heart shrank hard. Then who is in my mother's car? A stand-in driver who was arranged. Car has been passively touched. My fingers were cold. Turned out that the car accident was planned from the beginning. Uncle Chen looked at Jiang Yubai. Young Master Jiang, your father saved me back then. Jiang Yubai's body stiffened slightly. My father. Uncle Chen nodded. That night, Mr. Song was forced to sign. And Mr. Jiang Yuanshan was also there. He is not with them. He was there to prevent that fake mortgage document from taking effect. I looked at the computer screen. The full video is here. Yes. Uncle Chen pressed play. Picture continues. Mother looked at Jiang Yuanshan. Do you want to watch them do that too? In the video, the man with his back to the camera turns around. It is a distant mountain in the river. He is much younger than in the photo and has a solemn face. He said, Mr. Song, I came tonight just to tell you that Jiang will not admit that mortgage document. He Guangqing stood up. Jiang Yuanshan, think clearly. Jiang Yuanshan said coldly. I think very clearly. Blue Bay is not yours. Shenhong's face was ugly. It's our family's business. Mother looked at him. Shenhong, we are no longer a family. Lu Man finally spoke. Her voice was sharp, completely different from the gentle appearance she had now. Song Ziyi, don't pretend to be high. You occupy Mrs. Shen's position and refuse to give Lao Shen away. Out. Do you really think everyone should revolve around you? The mother did not look at her. She only looked at Shenhong. I have handed over the evidence of your transfer of assets. Tomorrow the Law Society will apply to freeze the account. Shenhong was completely panicked. He rushed over to grab the documents. Mother dodged. In the chaos, Shenhong pushed her. The mother hit the corner of the table and immediately bled. My heart was torn apart. In the video, Jiang Yuanshan rushed up to help her. Call an ambulance. He Guangqing said. You can't call it. Jiang Yuanshan said angrily. She will die. He Guangqing looked at Shenhong coldly. It's already like this. Now call an ambulance. Everyone is finished. Shenhong stood in place. His face pale. Lu Man covered his mouth and stepped back. The mother grabbed Jiang Yuanshan's sleeve with difficulty. Take Nanqing too. Her voice was weak. Don't let them touch her. Jiang Yuanshan nodded with red eyes. I promise you. The video screen shakes. He Guangcheng's people rushed in and snatched the documents from the table. Jiang Yuanshan was stopped. Shenhong stood as if he had lost his soul. Finally, the video stops at the footage of the mother falling to the ground. My tears finally fell. Not a crash. It is soberness after extreme pain. The mother did not die in a car accident. She was first injured in the office. They don't save her. They took her away and faked it as a car accident. I turned to look at Uncle Chen. Why are you only showing up now? Uncle Chen lowered his head. Mr. Jiang rescued me back then and asked me to hide with some evidence. He said that when Miss Nanqing grows up, he will give you the evidence. But not long after. Mr. Jiang also had an accident. Jiang Yubai's voice was very low. My father's death was not an accident. Uncle Chen looked at him. Mr. Jiang has been investigating Mr. Song's case. He found that He Guangqing and Shenhong had joined forces to forge mortgage documents, and also found that Lu Man had transferred assets. Before he was about to go public, car lost control on the highway. Jiang Yubai closed his eyes. I saw his fingers clenched tightly. His father did not harm my mother, but he also died because of my mother's case. This moment, the wall between me and Jiang Yubai did not completely disappear, but it cracked. I asked Uncle Chen, why don't you call the police directly all these years? Uncle Chen took out an old file bag. I don't have complete evidence. This is the only one in the video. The device was damaged back then, and it took me many years to fix it. And He Guangqing has been looking for me. I don't dare to show up. Then why dare now? Uncle Chen looked at me. 'Cause you bought that hotel. I was stunned. What? That hotel was the first asset that Mr. Song left you back then. She once said that if you can get it back one day, it means that you already have the ability to protect yourself. My heart trembled violently. Turned out that I bought the hotel on the wedding day. Not just my counterattack. That was also the signpost my mother gave me a long time ago. Uncle Chin continued. I saw the news and knew that you were not ruined by them. I knew it was time to give you the truth. I took the file bag. There is a full video backup inside. There is a car accident vehicle maintenance report of that year. There are transfer records of Shin Hong and He Guangqing. There is a Flo O.F. Lu Man's overseas account. There is also a complete letter left by Jiang Yuanshan. When Jiang Yubai took the letter, his fingers were shaking. He opens. I stood aside and didn't peek. But after he read it, he handed me the letter. You should watch it too. The handwriting on the letter is clear. Jiang Yuanshan wrote, Yubai, if you see this letter, it means that I can no longer complete this matter myself. Song Zi did not die by accident. She died of greed and betrayal. I once did not disclose the fake mortgage documents at the first time because I was worried about Jiang. It's my fault. Then I wanted to remedy it. But it was too late. If Song Zi's daughter Shen Nanqing finds you in the future, please don't cover it up for the Jiang family. Give her the truth. The Jiang family can bear the loss. They cannot inherit the crime. After reading it, there was no sound in my heart for a long time. Jiang Yubai whispered, my father is not a murderer, but he is also at fault. I said he did the right thing in the end. Jiang Yubai looked at me, but it's too late. I didn't comfort him, 'cause some of them are late. They really can't make up for it. The sound of cars suddenly came from outside the warehouse. Qin He's news also came in at the same time. Mr. Shin. He Guangcheng's people are here. And the police are also acting. Uncle Chen's face changed. They found here. I handed the file bag to the lawyer. Take the evidence and go. Jiang Yubai stood in front of me. I looked at his back and whispered, this time, I won't hide. He looked back at me. I took out my phone and dialed the police contact. The evidence has been obtained. You can close the net. The warehouse door was knocked open. He Guangqing walked in with people. When he saw Uncle Chin, his face instantly darkened. So you're still alive. Uncle Chin took a step back. Did not escape. I walked under the light. He Guangqing, you've been looking for him for 10 years. You didn't expect him to come back by himself, right? He Guangqing looked at me. Shen Nanqing, do you think you can bring me down if you get a few old videos? Not a few old videos. I looked at him. There are also vehicle inspection reports, transfer records, forged documents, driver testimony, and letters left by Jiang Yuanshan. His face changed little by little. This moment, police lights came on from outside the warehouse. The footsteps are getting closer and closer. People around He Guangqing panicked. Someone tried to run away but was stopped by security and police. Outside He Guangqing was still standing. He sneered. Shen Nanqing, do you think Shen Hong will admit it? Do you think Lu Man will admit it? No one will admit to killing someone. I looked at him. They don't need to admit it. I raised my phone. The screen is live streaming to connect to the lawyer team and police forensic system. Every word you just said has been recorded simultaneously. He Guangqing finally changed his face. Are you deceiving me? I learned from you. Police walked in. He Guangqing also wants to maintain decency. I want to see a lawyer. Police quickly took control of the scene. Uncle Chen was protected. The evidence was sealed. I stood at the door of the warehouse, looking at the dark night by the sea. 10 years ago, the last time my mother saw it was probably the sea like this. Cold black. There is no end. But now, it's almost dawn. Everything after that moved quickly. He Guangqing was investigated. Shen Hong and Lu Man were restricted from leaving the country. Shanghai Capital formally sued Shen Hong to recover assets. The Blue Bay project suspended all old cooperation and entered the re-examination process. Yu Chin, as a key witness, was protected by the police. The mother's death case has finally changed from an accident to criminal investigation. On the day Shen Hong was taken away, I was waiting for him at the door of Shen's house. When he saw me, the expression on his face was very complicated. Anger, fear, hatred, and something I couldn't understand. He asked me, are you really going to send me in? I looked at him. It's not me who sent you in. It's what you did. Send you in. His lips trembled. I'm your dad. He said this again. Every time he said this before, I would be silent, 'cause I used to really want a father. But now, I just feel calm. You are my father. I said he was also one of the people who killed my mother. He looked up suddenly. I didn't want her to die. I just pushed her. It was He Guangqing. It was he who didn't let him call an ambulance. I looked at him. But you didn't save her either. He froze. I continued. You still have a lot of time to save her. You can call an ambulance. You can call the police. You can tell me the truth. But you didn't. You took her company, lived in the house she bought, married Lu Man, and let me grow up under your nose. You didn't make a mistake for a moment. You spent 10 years enjoying the benefits of her death. The blood on Shen Hong's face disappeared little by little. Police took him into the car. He looked back at me at the end. This time, I didn't take my eyes off. I watched him be taken away. No crying. I didn't feel happy either. I just feel that the stone that has been pressed on my chest for many years has finally loosened a little. Before Lu Man was taken away, he was even more embarrassed than Shen Hong. She kept saying that she didn't know the truth. The overseas account flows. The office video of that year. And the correspondence records between her and He Guangqing all prove that she is not a bystander. Shen Wei stood at the door of the villa and cried and called her. Mom Lu Man looked back at her. At that moment, she finally didn't look like the elegant Mrs. Shen. She is just a person who is afraid of losing everything. Shen Wei rushed in front of me. Shen Nanxing, are you satisfied? I looked at her. No, she was stunned. I said my mother won't come back. So you'll never be satisfied. She burst into tears. But I don't know anything. Just because you don't know doesn't mean you haven't enjoyed it. I looked at the villa. You live in my mother's house. Wear clothes bought with my mother's money. Steal the piano left by my mother. And humiliate me in my wedding dress. Shen Wei's face turned pale. I'm just jealous of you. I know my voice was calm. But jealousy is not a reason to hurt others. She was speechless. Soon the Shen family's villa was seized. I finally got my mother's study. When I pushed open the door, it was no longer what it used to be. Shen Wei's piano was moved. There are still some shallow traces on the wall. I asked people to restore the study to the way my mother was alive. White desk, wooden bookshelf, pot of white roses by the window. I put my mother's necklace in the glass box. What she lost, I got back for her little by little. Zhou Zechuan's ending came faster. His company went bankrupt. He was sued by creditors on suspicion of commercial fraud. He also became a joke in the whole circle because of his behavior. On the wedding day, the last time I saw him was at the door of the Hotel IB. The hotel has reopened. The flower wall at the door was demolished. It was replaced with clean white stone steps and transparent glass doors. Zhou Zichuan knelt there, just like downstairs in my company that day. This time, no one watched the fun. Only the cold wind blew past him. I got out of the car and he immediately got up. Nanxing, he lost a lot of weight and had deep eye sockets. Confidence and pride I had before were all gone. I know I'm wrong. I stopped. Every time you see me, it's like this. His eyes were red. This time it's true. I thought a lot during this time. I found that the person who loves me the most is you. Only you were sincere to me before. I looked at him and suddenly felt very strange. Have I ever loved this person? Maybe loved. I loved Zhou Sichuan, who held an umbrella for me on a rainy day. I loved Zhou Sichuan, who made a cake with his own hands on my birthday. Those moments have been ruined by his later betrayal. I asked, if I hadn't bought the hotel, if I hadn't been the head of Shanghai Capital, would you still come to me today? He was stunned. I already know the answer. No, he hurriedly said. That's not the case. I interrupted him. Zhou Sichuan, that day is not the day you lose me. The day I finally see you clearly. Tears fell from his eyes. Nanxing, is it really impossible for us? No. I bypassed him and walked into the hotel. The security guard stopped him. He called my name behind him. I didn't look back, 'cause I died at that wedding in the past. Shen Nanxing, who survived, will not go back to pick up a rotten relationship. 3 months later, the Blue Bay project was officially restarted. I cancelled the luxury real estate plan that He Guangqing left behind that year. It is also not developed in the most profitable way. I changed it to a seaside art hotel, a women's entrepreneurship fund center, and a psychological support space. This was my mother's wish back then. She said that Blue Bay is not just a place for the rich to vacation. It should allow some people who have lost their way to start over. On the day of the start of construction, the sea breeze was strong. I stood high in Blue Bay and looked at the sea in the distance. Jiang Yubai walked up to me. He didn't get too close. We have maintained a very subtle distance during this time. He helped me deal with Jiang's old documents. Together with him, I cooperated with the police in investigating the truth about Jiang Yuanshan's death. We worked side by side, but no one mentioned their feelings. Until today, he handed me an envelope. This is what your mother left me. I looked at him. For you. To those who may find me in the future. I opened the letter. Inside are the words of the mother. If Nanxing stands in front of you one day, please tell her not to bow your head for anyone. She can love, but don't give yourself to anyone. Love is acceptable. Freedom must be in your own hands. My eyes slowly turned red. Mother is always like this. Even if she leaves, she is still teaching me how to live. I put the letter away. Jiang Yubai looked at the sea and whispered, Shen Nanxing, I like you. I didn't look at him. He continued. I know it's too late to say this. Also know that I once hid from you. I don't ask you to answer right away. I just want you to know that no matter what choice you make in the future, I will respect it. I turned to look at him. What if I don't choose you? He looked at me with deep eyes and was very quiet. Then I will wish you freedom too. This sentence is more moving than any promise. 'Cause he didn't say he would protect me for the rest of my life. I didn't say I couldn't do it without him. He just put the choice back in my hands. I said softly, Jiang Yubai, I will not be anyone's subordinate. I know I won't give up on myself for love. I know I won't take feelings as a reward just because you saved me. I know. I looked at him. So if I choose you, it will only be because I want to choose you. Jiang Yubai's eyes moved slightly. He didn't approach immediately. He just whispered, that's enough. I looked at the sea in the distance. The wind blows my hair. This time, I didn't feel cold. On the day of the official opening of the Blue Bay Hotel, many people came. The media is coming. Partner is coming. People who used to watch my jokes also came. They saw me standing on the stage with mixed expressions. Someone once said that I would end up after I was divorced. Some people say that I rely on men to get on top. Some people say that I'll be kicked out by the Shin family. But now, I'm standing here. This hotel belongs to me. Blue Bay belongs to me. My mother's company belongs to me. My life also belongs to me. After the ribbon-cutting ceremony, I walked alone to the top terrace. The sea is illuminated by the setting sun and turns gold. I think of the wedding day. I stood on stage. Zhou Zichuan pushed me to Guangqing. Everyone was waiting to see me cry. But I took out my black card and bought the entire hotel. At that moment, I thought I was just fighting back. Now I understand. That was the first door my mother left me. It is also a new life that I push with my own hands. Jiang Yubai walked up to me. He asked, "Do you regret buying the hotel that day?" I laughed. No regrets. He looked at me. I looked at the sea in the distance. That day, I didn't buy a hotel. I bought my own life back. The sea breeze blows. I close my eyes. This time, I am finally not anyone's daughter. Not anyone's fiancé. Not anyone's bargaining chip. I am Shen Nanqing. I am free.